What is up, everybody? I'm Johnny Blacklight. Welcome to the channel. Here we talk about all kinds of weird stuff. Cryptids, UAPs, glitches in the Matrix itself, and more. Subscribe and stay a while. But yeah, man, today I just wanted to get ranty with it, man, and go no script and just kind of give some of my thoughts and opinions on breaking out of the Matrix, what that actually means, resistance, and social approval, different stuff like that. Like I said, I've been thinking a lot about the Matrix itself, not necessarily the literal sci-fi version of the Matrix, but the feeling that something about the world isn't, what you thought. We've had a lot of disclosure lately on a lot of different fronts here. People are looking at the world a lot differently, socially, politically, in all kinds of different avenues of life right now, which can make things that used to feel more important suddenly feel like they don't matter as much, more hollow. Again, stuff like social approval or looking cool, playing the normal person game. Because, think about it. Who wants to be a normie? It's always kind of a looked down upon phrasing these days. But waking up to a lot of the systems and the way things are very performative, new things can suddenly matter a lot more to you. Authenticity, creativity is a big one for me. Just being honest about what you think and not worrying so much about judgment from others and fitting in and kind of leaving some of that tribalism at the door. And honestly, it kind of feels like a cheat code in a way, because a weird realization I've had from kind of waking up to a lot of different things and just the falsehoods of these things is things that once felt impossible basically now feel within reach. Even now, like starting a YouTube channel, it's something I've been, piddling around with and kind of messing with for years. And I feel like the awakening thing and kind of looking at things in a much different way than I used to has really helped me like lock in, as the kids say, and just kind of start saying my weird ideas out loud and not having that little voice of resistance in the back of my head telling me to worry about things. Kind of letting the mask slip a little bit and being yourself publicly more than before. And I felt like I was always kind of one of those people that would try not to worry so much about that. But I feel like it just creeps in. Over the years, especially the older you get, you start to think more about stuff and your friend groups dwindle and you look at things a little bit differently. And the way I'm looking at things now is like, well, basically, none of that really mattered. That's all just the past and things that built me, sure, part of me. But now I can take what I got out of that and move forward and kind of use those things as building blocks to know who I am and who I'm not, basically, if that makes any kind of sense, really. Getting a little rambly, but that was kind of the plan for today. But yeah, pulling myself away from any form of needing to fit in, needing to be a part of the tribe, it's not so important to me now. And I think that really helps me kind of just relax and go towards things that I'm more naturally interested in, which has been a big thing for me lately, like nerding out on different things, starting this channel here, cryptids and UAPs and all that kind of talk has just always been super interesting to me, and I've always wanted to talk about it, and just saying fuck it, man, and just going for it, making the channel and putting content out and not worrying so much about judgment and the fear of being judged or the fear of being cringe, because that's a big one these days. Cringe. Nobody wants to, don't post cringe, bro. But I feel like you kind of got to in order to kind of get the wheels moving, because, because like you see in these motivational quotes and stuff, your first post, your first podcast, your first video, whatever, is most likely not going to be that great. And you're eventually going to get better and better as you go. And that momentum is what you need to get. So like leaving a lot of that stuff at the wayside really helped me gain that momentum and, lock in. Looking at my differences as more of a strength is a big thing for me too. My personal interests and knowing that there's people out there who are also interested in these things too. And, looking for answers or looking for community. And that can still be found in niche, subgenres of fandoms and stuff like that. But a part of it for me is not like marrying myself to any of them and just kind of being more free form and free floating and very Bruce Lee about it. Be water. But yeah, I feel like when it comes to the Matrix itself, that's what the real Matrix really is the social pressures and the fear of judgment and cringe and all this other stuff. But sometimes you just gotta let go of that stuff, especially now. I feel like it's the easiest time to do so is now, because so many people are, waking up to the false realities of a lot of different things and realizing a lot of things in the world are going on that we don't really understand that we thought we did, basically. And I feel like, the real, Agent Smiths or Matrix that we live in, or, multiple matrices really, they come from, places like peer pressure, the internet mob mentality as well, algorithms, and, just people telling you, don't do that or don't say that and stuff like that. And yeah, obviously you don't want to be super abrasive. You don't want to be mega offensive. Edgelord stuff is stuff I'm, definitely going to stay away from. And it's easier to do that when you get older. You're just like, I feel like that's probably the real cringe of anything. But like actually trying to put something out there. Sure, some people are going to say it's cringe, but you just got to let it be, man, and build off of it. And a lot of that is trial and error. And you're not going to get there until you do it. And when it comes to others who have succeeded online or in their fields, these are the people who don't really seem to care too much about that kind of stuff. They'll say the weird thing, or they'll try the stuff, or they'll experiment with things. And I feel like that's the best place to be when you're trying to be a creative or a content creator, or, kind of make your own path in some sort of subgenre of fandom. And perfection will get you too, man. I feel like the way I look at things is like there's this resistance monster who's like constantly trying to stop you from doing things. He's trying to get you to just like chill and just vibe out, and you can do that later. You know what I mean? There's always tomorrow, and it's just like, no, you got to go down. Sometimes you just got to get the ball rolling. It's kind of like that little experiment. People will be like, oh, I'm going to really write a book or something. Well, they're not motivated to do the actual work. So one trick you can do is to like set a timer for 10 minutes and be like, I'm just going to write for 10 minutes. And then by the time that timer goes off and you're writing for 10 minutes, you're already in the groove. So you just keep going 9 times out of 10. That's one way to beat the resistance monster. I always recommend the book, The War of Art. I forget the author, but it's a great book, and it talks a lot about the resistance monster. And it's like this, to me, it's like this, you can't see it, but it's like this invisible little fairy monster that floats around your head, almost like the angel in the devil on the shoulder cartoon thing. But he's just trying to get you to be lazy. And it's so easy to do that in today's Black Mirror reality we live in. I mean, you can just get sucked into multiple Black Mirrors. You have your big TV Black Mirror. You can check out what the little internet's going on, what's going on over here. Let's jump on, let's put some music on in the background, and let's look at, doom scrolling for an hour, whatever. So it's so easy to slip into that. And the resistance monster just takes a hold. So yeah, being aware of that too is, a matrix in itself, and kind of waking up to knowing that that's a thing, and that's something that's going to be lingering over your shoulder while you're trying to be a creative or write something or create a YouTube channel or stream online or whatever you want to do. It like puts up all these constructs in front of you. It makes you worried about, all the little things, all the stuff that doesn't really seem to matter in the end, because we're all different. So it is what it is. If you're worried about, your appearance on camera or your voice or whatever, you just got to kind of lean into it, man, and let it be. It's such a common thing, so many people feel that way about content creation or, stage fright that we all kind of, well, maybe not all, but a lot of us kind of have. Even me, I was always the shy kid. I was always the quiet kid. But the older I've gotten and the more I've gotten out into the workforce and done different things, it's really gotten me out of my shell. And then now we're at a time where who knows what's going on with everything. And I'm getting older, so I'm just like, fuck it, man. I want to do what I want to do, so screw the resistance monster, I'm getting after it. So that's kind of the attitude I've had lately, and it's so much easier to get into that attitude knowing that there's a lot of propaganda out there that's trying to slow us down. And putting the glasses on, they live style, and kind of being able to read it is kind of a tactic I use to know your enemy, you know what I mean, and know what they're trying to slow you down with, so you can hurdle over that shit and keep going. Stay locked in. Because, yeah, man, like waiting for the confidence to come around and like waiting for the right time, it's never going to happen. You know what I mean? You just got to go. You just got to move. And when you get that first piece of content out, or that first like paragraph written or page or whatever for your thing, you'll look back over it. You'll scrutinize it. You're going to edit yourself, and you're going to be like, should have did this, should have did that. That's a learning experience. You know what I mean? That's a building block where you can be like, okay, well, next time we fix that. We do that better next time. That's kind of what I've been trying to do with my channel, my work, all kinds of stuff, even like working out, different things when it comes to like technique and stuff, and just seeing what works for me. You never know. Yeah, it's a big avoidance thing too. It's a thing I notice about what's going on is people almost avoiding themselves in general. It's so, like I said before, it's so easy to get pulled into it with your social media, doom scrolling. You can just pop on something on Netflix, just the endless noise, just always plugged in and never like sitting with your own thoughts and kind of figuring out who you are and what you want to do, what you're actually interested in. Which brings me to content and like consuming content. because I'm a big movie fan, TV shows, big retro guy. I like a lot of throwback stuff, 80s, 90s, synthwave, vaporwave style. It's kind of my thing. Old school horror, 80s horror, big thing for that. And now I found myself like just diving deeper into that stuff. I'm like popping on old 90s sitcoms and just watching them from like episode 1 and just starting the beginning of them. You know, old shows I always wanted to watch, or old shows I haven't watched in a really long time. A lot of nostalgia stuff, a lot of stuff that reminds me of a good time and just makes me happy, and things that like I'm just naturally leaning towards already. It's like I feel like now that I'm out of that matrix and I'm not so worried about what's in the algorithm, I'm worried about what's I'm actually interested in watching or getting into or nerding out on. And that's been fun, man. That's been super great. It's been nice to just, you know, not worry about the trending thing on Netflix and just kind of watch, you know, an old show or an old movie, or just kind of find a rabbit hole to go down that I'm personally interested in. And sometimes I can bring that to YouTube and make a video. So that's, you know, part of the content creation as well. And I've noticed that too. It's like, you know, the shower talk, the TED Talks people have with themselves in the shower. I feel like sometimes that's like when the biggest realizations come, is when you're not locked into the Black Mirror in any form of matrix and you're just kind of like vibing out and thinking. Man, I've came up with some really cool video ideas and all kinds of different things when it comes to the channel and some of my writing projects and all kinds of stuff that I'm working on, just chilling. You know what I mean? Like just finding that time to be like, all right, no more work. I got some time. You know what, before I pop this show on, I'm just going to like stretch out and lay down and like think about the channel or something I want to work on, or like this specific thing, this specific project. And I'll just kind of like spend a little bit of time working on it and thinking about it. So yeah, man, just spending time away from scrolling, basically. I try not to scroll too much. I watch a lot of YouTube. YouTube is basically TV for me now, but when it comes to social media scrolling, I'm trying not to doom scroll. I've been getting pretty good about it. I feel like I can catch myself a lot quicker these days, being more awake and be like, put it down, jump into something else. Let's move around. You got to move. You got to bob and weave. I feel like bobbing and weaving is really helping me. Plus, I've always been a creative. I've always been an artsy-fartsy guy. So I've always liked to make art and videos and tell stories and even, you know, weird stuff that maybe I only understand. It's just fun. And that's just kind of the lane I've been leaning the most into, I think, is just creativity and fun and what I'm naturally drawn to. Not asking permission, doing things my own way, making weird art and ignoring expectations and just kind of letting things ride. It's like even here on the channel. My thing is try to get a video up a week. Try not to go 7 days without a YouTube video posted. And sometimes that video gets a decent amount of views, and sometimes it gets like 10, and that's fine. I met my goal. I did what I said I was going to do, and that's me being out of the matrix and kind of creating my own little happy place here. Because you got to give things time. You got to let things build. I can't expect my channel to just blow up overnight because I'm hyped and locked in and ready to rock and roll. You just got to let the momentum carry you. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. But yeah, this awakening, man, and just information spreading so fast nowadays, so many people questioning so many things. It can be scary, but it can also be very liberating. Because that's the way I've been trying to look at it, because I've had a range of emotions lately, just over everything that's been happening in the world. And a lot of things we're realizing about, you know, conspiracies and some of the truth in a lot of them. And there's a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of fear, but also a lot of motivation and a lot of that liberating feeling of like, oh, well, if nothing matters, then nothing matters. I can do whatever I want. It's freeing. Kind of coming to the realization that you can wake up to deeper truths in the world without, you know, completely losing your joy and just being totally black-pilled about things. I mean, you can question reality systems, you know, talk about conspiracies and whatnot, but you can still like, you know, laugh and have a good time and like watch some movies and hang out and enjoy life. There's so much to it. You got to be able to find something. I've mentioned this before in old videos, is that childlike wonder, is like grabbing that and bringing that into my adult life and letting the little version of me that is inside there just kind of like run shit for a little bit. It's kind of nice, man. It's kind of fun. It's really fun, actually. It kind of just makes me think, man, maybe like the real escape from the matrix isn't necessarily like the conspiracies or the secret knowledge or like learning all the hidden truths, but maybe it's simply just like finding authenticity and creating and getting out of these bubbles and these spheres or these matrices, if you will, and not caring so much about what other people think and living a life that feels real to you. But yeah, man, I think that's going to do it for the video. I just wanted to jump on, do some rambling, get some thoughts off my chest and put a video together for y'all. So I hope you enjoyed. I'm Johnny Blacklight. Subscribe for more. Y'all have a good one, and I'll see you next time.